In this presentation, I will be discussing how standards-based grading works at Hayes High School. If you are interested in learning about why we are moving to standards-based grading in the building, you can watch the video titled, Why We Use Standards-Based Grading at Hayes. My name is Jake Schaefer. I'm one of the assistant principals at Hayes High School, and I have a unique perspective on standards-based grading because I taught in this program at Hayes. I had the chance to help develop the program, and I'm now an administrator in the building. This program means a lot to me, and it's been very successful for our student achievement. But we have some work to do as a building to make sure our families understand the way it works. So I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Before getting into the details, I first want to say that the classroom experience does not look much different in a standards-based classroom than in a traditional classroom. Our teachers still teach using a diverse set of teaching strategies. They still do activities, they still give tests and quizzes, and they still have students work in groups. Standards-based grading changes the way that students are assessed, not the way that teachers teach. We believe that grades should reflect what students know and are able to do. This is where standards-based grading comes in. Let's talk about the structure of a standards-based course. Every course is built around 10 to 15 priority standards. These are the major categories of skills that students are expected to learn throughout the course. Grades are determined by student performance in each of these priority standards. Let's take a look at what a priority standard looks like. Within each standard are the set of skills that students need to master. These skills vary in difficulty across 4 levels. When students receive grades on a standard, they will receive a grade between 0 and 4 based on what level of skills they have mastered. Skills in level 1 are the skills that are absolutely necessary in order for a student to receive a passing grade on a standard. Often, level 1 contains vocabulary for the unit, in addition to some foundational skills. Students who complete only the level 1 content receive a D-. Level 2 contains the basic skills for the standard. In tested courses, these are the skills that would be necessary to pass the state test. Students who complete skills from level 1 and 2 receive a C-. Level 3 skills are all of the skills that are required in the unit. Students who complete level 3 have done everything teachers could ask them to do. Students who complete the skills in level 3 receive an A-. Level 4 contains skills that are extensions beyond the requirements. These skills often involve applying skills to new situations, combining skills, or using skills in a creative way. Students who complete level 4 receive an A+. It is possible that students will master some skills in a level before they master them all. Therefore, students may also receive half of a level grade, for instance, a 2.5 or a 3.5. Let's go through an example of a standard and a proficiency scale. Suppose that making a grilled cheese sandwich is one of the standards in my class. As a team, our department would write a proficiency scale for that standard, which includes all of the skills related to making a grilled cheese. In level 1, we would include the vocabulary and any foundational skills necessary to pass the unit. That could be naming the ingredients and tools necessary to make a grilled cheese: bread, cheese, butter, stove, pan, spatula, etc. I can sign off that you pass with a D- if you can at least tell me the ingredients and tools necessary to make a grilled cheese. Level 2 contains the basic skills. So in this level, the skill may be to make a basic grilled cheese. The student can assemble the ingredients in order and cook that basic grilled cheese. Maybe the grilled cheese is burnt or undercooked, but the student has the basics. Level 3 contains all the skills students need to make a perfect grilled cheese. The bread is cooked to a golden brown, the cheese is melted, the sandwich is excellent. This work deserves an A. Finally, level 4 would ask for an extension on those skills. This could include creating new recipes to elevate grilled cheese. Maybe it includes adding new ingredients or cooking methods. Notice how logical it is that we would begin with the most basic skills and work our way up this proficiency scale as students gain skills. It also makes sense that we would assess whether students have the skills in one level before asking them to attempt the next level. It wouldn't make sense for me to ask a student to elevate the grilled cheese sandwich if they cannot yet name the ingredients or cook a simple sandwich properly. Organizing the skills within a standard into proficiency scales allows us to give more meaningful feedback to help students learn. Suppose a student received a B on their grilled cheese. A traditional grade may say minus 15 points and the score of B. The student knows their sandwich wasn't perfect, but they may not know why. With standards-based grading, the student would receive feedback telling them which particular skills they had mastered and which they are still working on. Maybe the bread was golden, but the cheese wasn't melted perfectly. Maybe the heat was too high on the pan. Students would know what they still needed to work on. Let's now look at how grades are calculated within the standards-based grading system. Grades are determined by student performance across each of the 10 to 15 priority standards in a course. Students receive a grade from 0 to 4 in each standard. Those scores are averaged to give the student their final grade for the year. Standards that have not been assessed yet do not count in the final grade until they're assessed. In other words, students do not start with a 0 in every standard. They start with that grade exempt from their overall grade until they have the chance to demonstrate their skills. Students will have the opportunity to be assessed on each standard multiple times throughout the year. Again, the timeline for learning is flexible in standards-based grading, so students have multiple opportunities to show what they know and are able to do. Because standards are assessed multiple times, we do not want to hold it against students if they have grown in their ability during the term. Therefore, PowerSchool will count only the highest score that a student receives on a standard. For instance, this student received a 2, a 2.5, and a 2 when they were assessed on Standard 2. PowerSchool will count the 2.5 as the overall grade. That's the one highlighted in yellow. For more information about how to read and interpret PowerSchool grades, watch the video dedicated to PowerSchool at Hayes High School. Here are the conversions from the numerical grades to letter grades. The letter grade associated with the score on the standard is what PowerSchool will show. So when you look at PowerSchool, you should see a letter grade for every course. In the standards-based grading system, assessments are different among departments and courses, but in general, students are assessed at one level of a proficiency scale at a time. Students that demonstrate a skill 80% of the time are considered proficient in that skill and will receive credit for the level. If a student can make a perfect grilled cheese 4 out of 5 times, they can make a perfect grilled cheese. So this means we do not assess students on skills that they're not ready for. Tests and quizzes in this system are concerned with skills. They have nothing to do with points. If the student shows that they have the skill, then they get credit for the skill. One major difference between traditional grading and standards-based grading is that the grade you see in PowerSchool for any standard is just a snapshot of where the student is right now. Grades are not final in standards-based grading until the end of summer school. As students work their way up the proficiency scale, there may be times where the grade in PowerSchool is lower than it will eventually be. Students may have only been assessed on level 1 or level 2. They may be waiting to retake a quiz or a test, or they may not have even been taught the level 3 and 4 material yet. This is why we have moved to year-long grades at Hayes. Grading skills instead of points takes time. However, if you're concerned about a grade or have questions about where your student is in a standard, you can always contact your student's teacher and they would be happy to help. While we want grades to be determined by what students know and are able to do, we also want to teach them to complete work on time, create quality work, work together, and be prepared for the learning environment. We want to make sure that we give you and the students feedback about their habits of work in addition to the progress in the curriculum. So this year we are introducing habits of work standards. These standards will give you feedback on attendance and punctuality, work completion, quality of work, and collaboration. These are important skills for students to learn, so they Though they do not count as part of the final grade, students will be assessed on each of them so that they know and you know how students are doing in those areas. Thank you for viewing this presentation about how standards-based grading works at Hays. For detailed information about why we chose to move to standards-based grading at Hays High School, take a few minutes to watch the video entitled Why We Use Standards-Based Grading at Hays. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me using the contact information on this slide. Thank you again.